Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our YouTube channel. And I really hope you all are doing good. Today I'm making a video about serverless container in Azure. So, this will be a complete hands on demonstration. So, yes, without wasting any time, let's get started. So, first of all, what are container instances? Container instances are a service in Azure. So it offers like fastest and simplest way to run a container in Azure. So we can do this without having to manage or create any virtual machines, and so this is very useful. So I'll for this demo I'll use Azure CLI commands to deploy Docker container in Azure. We will deploy a single container and we will also deploy multiple containers using Docker Compose. And this is a great solution actually for any scenario where you want to operate an isolated container. So for example, you can simply spin up a simple application. You can also use it for task automation, build jobs, etc. Yeah, but of course, if you want a full container orchestration, you definitely should go for Azure Kubernetes Service. I will also share the link for this documentation so that you will have this handy. And whatever demonstration I'm doing, so today it is available here in this Microsoft documentation. So I have used all these commands to prepare this demo, and you will also have all these commands handy. All right, perfect. So yeah, without wasting a time, let's get into some Azure action. All right, before doing that, there are some prerequisites if you want to do this on your own. So I just want to tell you that first thing you would need is an Azure account. So you need to have a Microsoft Azure account. Next, you need to have a working subscription. So if you are new to Azure and if you have created a brand new account, you will always have a free trial of 12 months. But somehow, if your free trial has expired, you can always create a pay-as-you-go subscription, and you can use that to work with Azure. Perfect. Another thing which you need on your machine is this Azure CLI. So I will put the link in the description box so that you can install this Azure CLI on your computer. You just need to copy this command and run it on PowerShell as an administrator, and Azure CLI will be installed on your machine. Last but not the least, you need this Docker running on your machine. All right. Perfect. So now everything is ready on my machine. Let's run some commands and deploy some containers on Azure. Perfect. So first thing I want to do, open this PowerShell, and I will use Azure CLI to perform some action. So first thing I will do is AZ login so that I am logged into my Azure account. There you go. It is asking me to log in, and I have clicked here. Perfect. So it's saying that I am currently logged in. Perfect. Next thing what you want to do is you want to make sure that you are on correct subscription. So as you can see here, it's showing me that I am on this particular subscription. I will quickly run the command. So I'll do az account show. So this is the current subscription which I'm working on. If you have multiple subscriptions, you will have multiple values here, and you can always switch subscription. So you can run az account set and then dash dash subscription, and then you can always give the subscription ID which you want to use. Yeah. So just a small caution here that you want to be sure that which exact subscription you are working on. All right, perfect. So now I have everything ready. Next, what I want to do is, yeah, I want to create a resource group. Okay, so I will run Azure CLI command to create a resource group in Azure. So I'll do az group create, and I will give a name, and I will give a name RG ACI context. So I will create a Docker context, and I will point that context to this particular resource group. Okay. So yeah, also give a location. I'll give a East US location for now. All right. And Yeah, there you go. It has given me that it was able to successfully create my resource group. Looking good. Next, since my resource group is ready, I want to check what Docker context is available. So I'll do Docker context ls. And as you can see right now, only one default context is available for my machine. Yeah. Yeah, so I will create a new context. I'll create a ACI context so that my Docker points to Azure to create Azure container instances. So first thing I will do, I'll do Docker login and Azure. So yeah, this will log in my Docker to Azure. And yeah, looking good. Login succeeded. Perfect. Let's run. Now I will create a Docker context. So I will do Docker context create ACI. So this is ACI context, and I'll give a name for this ACI context. So I'll give AB ACI context. Perfect. So now as soon as I run this command, it's asking me for to select a resource group. So as you can see, currently I recently created this resource group, but if you don't have resource group which is already present, you can always select this command and it will create a brand new resource group for you. But yeah, for this demo, I have already created this RGACI context resource group, so I'll select this. Perfect. So it shows me that it successfully created ACI context. Let's verify this. So I'll do Docker context ls, and there you go. So now I have two contexts, default as well as this ACI Azure Container Instance context. Perfect. Next thing what I want to do is I want to switch to this context so that when I run Docker commands, my containers are deployed into Azure instead of deploying on my local machine. So yeah, let's do that. So I'll do Docker switch. Okay, Docker context switch. No, not switch. Docker context use and then my context name ABACI context. Yep, there you go. Looking good. So let's verify this Docker context ls, and as you can see, this star shows that where my Docker is currently pointing to. So now my Docker is currently pointing to my Azure ACI context. Perfect. Okay, so now let's run a container in Azure. So it will be a simple Docker run command. So I'll do Docker run and I will give port binding 8080, and then I'll give a public image name. Okay, so yeah, let's give an image name mcr.microsoft.com and then Azure Docs and then ACI hello world. Perfect. So let's run this command and let's see what happens. So it is giving me an information that it has created this group and it is now creating this container. So let's wait for this to come up and then we will see in Azure Portal what happened exactly. Okay, it's looking good. It says listening on port 80. Perfect. So what I will do, I will go here in Azure Portal and I will see what exactly has happened. So if I'll go to resource group and I'll refresh, you can see this is my resource group which I created from Azure CLI. And if I'll click here, you can see this is my container instance created. So I'll click on this container instance. And if I click on container, and there you go. So this is my container running in Azure. And all I had to do is to run a couple of my Docker CLI commands in my local machine. And I'm able to spin up a container in Azure. So let's quickly test this. Okay, so what I will do, I'll run Docker PS to check the container details. As you can see, this is my container ID, and this is the public IP assigned to this container. So I'll quickly copy this public IP and I will try to browse it. And as you can see, it shows me welcome to Azure Container Instances. And I can also check logs. So I will do Docker logs and I will give this container ID. And yeah, it will print out the logs. Yeah. So we can also see this in action. So as you can see, I have run Docker run command without detached mode. So it is currently, linked into this particular container. So whatever I will do, it will print out all the logs here. Yeah. So as you can see, it's printing out all the live logs. So as soon as I'll refresh, yeah. All right, perfect. So this is looking good. Uh, Next, what I want to do is I want to remove this container. Okay. So to do that, I will have to stop this container first. So I'll do Docker PS. And next, what I will do is I will stop this Docker container. So I'll do Docker stop and I will give this container ID. And yep, let me quickly fix this. Looking good. Docker stop and then container ID. Ta-da! It has run. I'll quickly run Docker PS. Nothing is present. Docker PSA. Nothing is present. Okay, yeah, its status is showing terminated, and after a while, this particular okay, yeah. So right now I have only stopped this particular container, but I still need to remove it. To remove that container, Uh, so as you can see currently, since I have run Docker stop command, this container status is now terminated. But now I will remove this container. So I'll run Docker rm and then I will give this container ID. Let's run this. And there you go. This command has run. So if I'll run do Docker PSA, I won't see anything. So using Docker CLI, I have removed this container in Azure. So yeah, let's quickly test this, check this. So I'll go to resource group and I'll go to this RGAC context, and after a while, if I'll refresh, I'll see that this particular resource will no longer exist. So yeah, let's go to this RGAC context and refresh it, and there you go. As you can see, I don't have any Azure container instance now in my Azure portal. All right, perfect. So this was a simple demo to run a simple single container. But of course, you can also run multiple containers on Azure using Docker Compose. So yeah, let's quickly see that in action. Okay, perfect. So what I will do now is, yeah, so I have opened this Visual Studio Code. And yeah, before running multiple containers in Azure, what I will do, I will create a container registry, Azure Container Registry, so that I have a place where I can push my images from my local machine. So yeah, let's do that. Let's create an Azure Container Registry. So yeah, I'm already logged into Azure, so I will select Azure account show. And yeah, all right, so yeah, let's do that. So first, what I will do, I'll create a resource group for my container registry, Azure Container Registry. So I'll run command az group and then create and then name, and I'll give this a name. So I'll give it ACI resource group. Yeah, and then I'll give it a location. So for now, for this demo, I'll use East US, and let's press enter. And it will give us the output that this particular resource group has been created. Looking good. Now I will create a container registry. So I'll run Azure CLI command AZACR and then create, and I will give resource group, and I will give this particular resource group name, which I have recently created. And next I will give the name of my Azure container registry. So I'll give it a name and I will give it ACI Azure Demo AB001. So this is my name. It should be globally unique, and I will give SKU basic. All right, let's run this command. And after a while, it will create an Azure container registry for me, and I can perfect looking good. This is looking good. Now I can use this container registry to push my images, to store my images on Azure. So let's check what has happened. So as you can see, this ACI resource group is created, and inside this resource group, I yeah, I'll quickly refresh this. And yeah, there you go. I have this container registry available. I'll click here, and currently I'll see in this container registry I don't have any repositories. So we will push our images here in Azure in this container registry, Azure container registry. All right, so looking good as of now. What we need to do next is I want to log into this registry. Okay, so yeah, let's do that. So what I will do, I will run AZACR login and I will give this container registry name. So the name of my container registry is, I can quickly check it here. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, login, AZACR login, and then the name of my container, Azure container registry. So let's see. Okay, AZACR login, and then I need to give this name, and then I need to provide the name of my container registry. Yeah, login succeeded, looking good, perfect. So now we have a container registry available where we can build and push images. All right, looking good. So I will copy a clone project. I will clone a project from GitHub, and we will build this project and we will deploy this project on Azure. All right, so copy is complete. Let's cd into this directory. There you go. And I want you to see this Docker Compose file. So yeah, this is the Docker Compose file, and we will modify this file so that so that we build and push this image on Azure Container Registry and then deploy this on Azure container instances. Okay, so what I will do, this first is backend image, which is nothing but a simple Redis image, but this front image, we are building it on our own. Okay, so this build definition, if you see, it is pointing to a folder and it will look for a Docker file inside this folder, Azure Word folder, and it will create an image with this particular name. So what I want to do, I want to modify here and I want to provide my Azure container registry which I have created. Okay, so I will quickly do that. So I will quickly copy the name of this container registry and I will paste it here. So this is my container registry. So once I will build this image, it will tag this Azure Waterfront image as this name, and it will, and then we can push this image to Azure. Next thing I want to modify is I want to update the port. So I want the port to be exposed as port 80, not 8080. So there you go. Now this is looking good. I have saved this file and I will now test this on my local machine. So currently, let's check what is the context. So right now my context is ACI context on Azure. I will switch it to default because I want to build and test this particular application locally. So let's do that. I will do Docker context and use, and I will provide default. Looking good. Let's verify this. Docker context ls. And there you go. I can see this current default context is active now with that star mark. Okay, perfect. So let's run Docker compose commands to build the image and test this image locally. So I'll run Docker compose up and I will provide build and dash D. Let's run this. Now what Docker will do, it will build this image and it will create the containers. So let's wait. And there you go, it's creating containers now. Perfect. So container creation has completed. Let's check what containers are available. And as you can see, we have a couple of containers available and running. So as you can see, this one is Azure front and this one is a Redis image. So I will try to test this on my local machine. So let's test this. So I will go to localhost. localhost, and I have provided port 80. So let's check this. And there you go. So now my Azure voting app is available, looking good. So yeah, this is working. So next thing what I will do, I'll stop these containers. So I'll do Docker compose and down. No, so what this will do, this will stop these containers. And I will next what I will do, I'll push this container to Azure Container Registry. So that is also a very simple command. So we have already logged into our Azure Container Registry. So what I will do, Docker compose and then push. So what this command will do, this particular image, it will push this image into my Azure Container Registry. So we will see that quickly as soon as this is finished. We will verify this in Azure Portal. And there you go. So image push is complete. So let's quickly verify this in Azure Portal. So yeah, what I will do, I'll quickly go to this Azure Portal and I will go to all resources. And yeah, as you can see, this is my Azure Container Registry. I'll click here and there you go. So this is my container registry. I'll click on repositories and look at this. So this is the repository which I have pushed recently. So I'll click here and you can see this v1 tag. Yeah. So yeah, that's this is the image which is now available on my Azure Container Registry. Perfect. So everything is looking good. Next, what I want to do is I want to deploy this application in Azure. Okay. So I'll now quickly check what context is there. So Docker context ls. So currently I am on default context. I'll switch the context. So I'll do Docker context use ABACI context. There you go. So context switch is complete. Now I will deploy this on Azure, these multiple containers. So I will do Docker space compose space up. What this command will do, this command will now spin up my containers in Azure. So as you can see, it has created a container group called Azure Voting App Redis, and it has picked up this name from the name of my folder, Azure Voting App Redis, and now it's deploying these two services. So Azure Vote Back and Azure Vote Front. Yeah. So let's see when we have the service created. And now we have our containers running. Let's check them on our Azure portal. So I'll go to resource groups and I'll go to this RGACI context resource group. And there we go. This is our container instances. And I'll go to containers. And as you can see, here we have Azure Vote Back and Azure Vote Front running up and available. So Azure also creates this third container called Sidecar, and it deploys this container to make things work. So as you can see, it is setting local host for these two containers and to make them work together. All right, perfect. So we don't need to worry about this third container. So these are our two containers which are up and running in Azure. So yeah, let's quickly test this. So what I will do, I'll do Docker PS and I'll check the container details. As you can see, this is my container running in Azure, and I will quickly check the IP for my front end container and I will try to access in browser. Let's see. And there we have it. Our application, Cats and Dogs Voting app, is now available running in Azure and it's working perfectly fine. Looking good. Perfect. So yeah, next what we can do is we can check logs. So I can do Docker logs and I can give this container ID and it will print out all the logs for this particular container to me. Yep, a couple of things I want to show you in this portal that yeah, if you'll go here, click on this container and you can check properties of this container, that which port it is running, which image it is using, and you can also check a couple of more things. You can also check log stream here for this particular container. You can also check log stream for your backend container, so it is nothing but a Redis image. Yep. So you can check logs, and also you can connect it to this container using this third option. So I'll click here, and I will try to connect using this startup command bin bash. So it will give me a bash terminal inside container. There you go. And I'll type ls, and there you have, so I can check what all files are available inside this container. I'll quickly check this config file to check what contents are available. So this is sometimes useful when you're debugging. So yeah, config file, let's check. So as you can see, this is the UI configuration for our voting application running. There you go. I can simply exit out if I don't need it. Perfect. So this is our container running. Okay, let's try to stop these containers. So that is also a simple command. So I will simply run Docker compose and then down, and it will stop these containers on Azure. It will remove them completely. There you go. Command is completed. Let's quickly go to resource group, RGI context, and we will see after a while this resource group will no longer exist. And there you go. It no longer exists. Perfect. So it has gone, it has vanished, it got deleted because we ran this down command. Perfect. It's looking good. So yeah, this was pretty much it related to serverless containers on Azure using Azure container instances and Docker CLI. Perfect. So that's pretty much it, guys. So let's try. If you want, you can clean up all these resources. So if you want, you can simply run Docker CLI commands to delete these resource groups which we have created. So it's nothing but uh, AZ group and then delete, and then I can give name of the resource group. So first I will delete this ACI resource group, and I will press enter. There you go. It's asking me for confirmation, and it will run this command, and after a while it will delete that resource group. If we want, we can also remove this rgaci context, but it's completely empty right now. But in case if you want to remove it, you can also remove this, and you can also delete the docker context. So I'll show you that in a while. Okay, looks good. This resource group is deleted. I will also delete my another resource group just to clean up everything which we created for this demo. So I'll give this RG ACI context. I'll also delete this particular resource group. And there you go. It has, I have run both these commands. I have deleted these two resource groups, and I'll refresh. And as you can see, these nothing else is available. These resource groups are now deleted from my Azure portal. Looking good. Last but not the least, we can also clean up the context which we have created, Docker context. So if I'll do Docker context ls, and as you can see, it has this ACI context, I can delete it. So I'll switch the context first. So I'll do Docker context use, and I'll select default. There you go. I'll verify this. Docker context ls looking good. Default is my current context. Now I can delete this ABACI context. So I'll do Docker context rm, and then I'll give this name. Perfect. So if I'll do Docker context ls, I don't have ACI context anymore in my machine. So yeah, that was pretty much it for this demo, guys. So I hope you like it. If you really like it and if you find it useful, please do give this video a thumbs up in the YouTube. And also, I'm really looking forward to your comments. So please feel free to comment down in this video what you liked about this video, what you disliked about this video. Do you have any questions related to this? And I can address them. And if you are interested in any other technologies, if you are interested in any other Azure related services, please do let me know, and I can create a video about it and we can discuss on it in this channel. So yeah, looking forward to your comments, and until next time, uh, goodbye for now. Bye bye.